which is why I'm late. And also because I forgot, but I would have been back on time if that hadn't have happened.
Had you not been thwarted by traffic.
Exactly. Uh, for those of you listening on the podcast, Ben and I did, in fact, live stream when we were recording this, and you could have gotten in on the ground floor. Do we have a Patreon? No, we do not. You don't need one. You just have to follow the link that I put
if
in my Twitter feed.
if we had a Patreon, that would mean that we would have to do work to sustain it.
Right. We're not doing anything for you people
We just had
except
we just
putting
had
out
two
free content.
we just had two people pop on and then pop off to the
Yeah.
YouTube. So I guess
Sounds
we didn't catch
good.
them. We didn't capture their interest in the 10 seconds that they were there.
You know, Ben, I have found that you and I have proven that you can have a podcast that keeps going with no real external resources if you cover all of those resources yourself and don't care if people listen to you or not. It's you can just
Right.
make it go.
And now they get to see some behind the camera behind the scenes on the Zooms. I'm doing some things. I'm making some things happen that I forgot to do when we started. But yeah, we're doing this on Friday instead of Thursday because I had to take my car into the shop. And
I just got my car back from the shop.
yeah, the shop's great. Nothing was really wrong.
I look so much taller than you, by the way.
That's because I slouch. We've established that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah.
Nothing was wrong with my car, and in fact, I was getting a stereo put in it. I don't know if I told you. I haven't told anybody. I actually bought a new car, and
What? First,
yeah.
I think this is a scoop. for the
it is a
podcast.
scoop. I've not posted about this on Facebook because it is a little bit of an expenditure that I allowed myself because I could do it. But right now everybody's like hurting, and I don't want to like brag that I picked up a car. So, but
What-
nobody,
what,
as we've established, nobody listens to the podcast, so I can tell
Yeah,
you.
exactly. This is it feels like you're telling people, but you're really not.
Yeah.
What kind of car is it, Ben?
It's a 2012 Volkswagen Beetle.
Wow, Ben,
I know, I
what
bought
a
a-
great car for you.
I bought a Beetle. Well, you know, it's funny. I wasn't really looking for a Beetle per
For
se.
those of you who don't know, Ben really likes the Beatles. It's part of his part of his
and
thing.
Doctor Who.
Wait, is there a Beatle in Doctor Who?
No, I was drinking out of a Doctor Who mug at the time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hey,
I'll-
I have jelly babies, by the way.
No eating on the podcast. No, my car, my old car, the Chick Magnet, as you know, this 91 Tercel that I've had for almost 14 years.
Wow,
Is
it's crazy.
it got to the point where it's going to be needing a bunch of work, and the car's not worth anything to anybody other than me, and I wasn't going to put any more money into it. So I'm like, if I'm going to spend money on a car, I might as well get something nice. And I was looking for a 2-door hatchback with a manual transmission, and the Bug just ticked all the boxes, you know.
Nice.
So yeah, but it had this dumb.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
It had this dumb aftermarket stereo in it, so I also splurged a little bit and bought like one of those touchscreen like panels for cars that has Apple
'Cause
CarPlay.
you- You like your music, Ben. You enjoy listening to some.
Do
tunes
like
in
my
the
music,
car.
and I do like a clean interior. And the one I got, I don't actually have to like. There aren't cables going into the stereo. It's all in the
Yeah.
glove box. So yeah, but the thing is, I needed to buy a special adapter from Volkswagen to actually make the CarPlay work. So I'm waiting for that to come in. Anyway, long story short, I was on the bus at this time yesterday, heading back up to Aurora to the Car Toys to pick up my car.
Nice.
That is why we didn't do the show yesterday.
Well, on my part, this week I, got back from visiting Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good. Although I did not like the altitude sickness.
You had
which
altitude
is something
sickness?
that I did have. Yeah, I was. It was 7,000 miles above sea level.
It's 7th. Is it that high?
Yeah, yeah, New Mexico,
Wow,
Santa Fe, New Mexico, very, very high. And what would happen is I would go to sleep at night, and I'd feel like I wasn't breathing right. That's the only way I can describe it. Like I was messing up breathing, so I would wake up. Jennifer noted that I slept for at least 3 hours straight because I was snoring for about 3 hours straight. But besides that, the only way I can describe it is like you're drifting off to sleep, and then you wake up again, and then you drift off, and then you wake up again, and just constantly like that, and getting out of breath just by standing up and walking a few feet, that kind of thing. It was weird.
That's terrible. It's that's interesting. I've been to Santa Fe a couple times, but I honestly I had no idea it was a higher elevation than Denver. But I guess that makes
Yeah,
sense.
isn't
There's
that weird?
mountains down
Denver, Mile High City.
there. Yeah.
I just learned about Denver's altitude. Oh, I was gonna say I learned about Denver's altitude being the Mile High City from Jennifer just a little while ago.
Yeah.
And I need to point out because I don't think she listens to the podcast anymore, but if she is listening, I want to apologize to her because she had a Volkswagen Rabbit that was a hatchback manual transmission, her favorite car, and we got rid of it to buy an automatic car when Betty was born because I can't drive a manual transmission.
Was it a Rabbit or a Golf?
Golf? Did I say Rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember that little green car that Jennifer had. I was also looking at the Golfs, and
well,
when
I'm
I was
glad
looking
that
at
you
cars.
didn't get one because then she would be jealous.
Well, one of the reasons
she can't see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't get one. Well, A of all, I didn't find one that I liked, but B of all, they are everywhere. Every other car on the road is a Volkswagen Golf.
Really?
It seems like
above the steering wheel on a Beetle, apparently.
Oh, really?
Like there's no way for her to sit in it where she.
It's an alarmingly large car. It's longer and wider than the Tercel, and you think, oh, Volkswagen Beetle, compact car. No, they've gotten big. They've grown up, and this is the redesigned new Beetle. It's not like the bubbly one. It's elongated and wider and looks more sporty.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly big car, but.
I know somebody who had Volkswagen Beetle that had the little eyelashes on them on the things.
Yeah,
and
fortunately,
I thought it would be nice to get a Volkswagen Beetle with the eyelashes and a pair of truck nuts, just to mess with the gender binary.
Yep.
Kind of. Don't tell my car.
3 miles forward, 2 miles back. I got an angry mile. Yeah, they've also gotten rid of the flower vase on the dashboard. Thankfully.
Oh. What? So what's on the dashboard now?
Just regular car dashboard.
I want to also point out, you can't see it because he's not wearing it right now. So I can't really point it out. I'm just going to mention it and use the dog as a prop. Edward is now a registered emotional support dog.
Oh, really?
For me.
For you?
Well, it's probably for Jennifer because she's the one who filled out the paperwork. But I sent in the photo ID, so I think it works out.
But that means that you can legally take him into stores and airplanes.
Well, I could take him onto stores and airplanes, and people could give me a hassle about it, and then I could say he's an emotional support dog, and then they can go, that's not really a thing, and I could go, well, look, I've got these ID cards, and they
I have a piece of paper from the state.
Yeah, what's real and what isn't.
Because people do abuse that privilege. People
they do.
I've heard stories of people who work in the service industry in places where animals are not allowed. And if you try to tell someone, sir, your dog's not allowed in here. And he's like, well, this is my emotional support animal. What are you going to do? What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Are you going to go through like, yeah, show me the paperwork? Otherwise, you
Yeah.
and your dog can
And
get
if
out.
they show you the paperwork again, what does that mean exactly? That kind of thing.
It's yeah,
It's like, for me, one of the things is, it's not done yet. COVID is still going, but I think at some point in time, the 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 being able to work from home forever thing might go away. People might want to get people back in offices. I think I'm very
Microsoft.
productive. I think I'm doing very well. But if I have to go back to an office, I may, you know, I, I do not do well in a office situation as well as I've been doing working from home like I have been. And so some of that stuff,
Yeah.
having an emotional support dog, for instance,
Microsoft is
uh,
starting to
will be good.
allow people to go back to the office. And allow, I think, might be too forgiving of a word. I think they are forcing people to go back to the office.
Yeah. And for me, it's difficult, of course, because I work, the office that I work out of is in another state.
Yeah.
Um, but I really do think that they value me and how I do. So I think it should be okay.
The
But we'll
it
see.
the thinking is shifting. I feel because they're like it's been a while since I've worked in an office as an employee and not a contractor, but I also heard a lot of like pre-pandemic talk. No, we have to work in the office. We all have to be in the office because we're a team. Teams work better when we're together. And then the pandemic just blew all that apart, and everybody's like, all right, oh, actually, we can be productive at home.
Yeah.
And so going
The
forward, a year from now, it might be going into the office might be, not compulsory, might be optional.
but the I guess the one other thing about all of that is that, what is making work is like, Zoom, Skype, all that kind of stuff. And if offices are paying money for that kind of thing, they might want to not have that expense. Now, the question is, which is more expensive? I mean, because like for me working from home, they're paying for all my stuff basically. I'm sorry, they're not paying for all my stuff. I'm paying for my electricity. I'm paying for my internet. I'm paying for
You
like all of
bought a
that. That's an
desk,
expense that they don't have to, right, that they don't have to have.
but they
So
should, right? Like, okay, let's say you have a 100 megabit internet connection and you are on it
yeah,
8 hours a day. So should they foot 1/3 of your internet bill?
I mean, you could make that argument, but the rest of my family can use it at the same time that I'm using it, and I have the benefit of, like, um when I went to Santa Fe on vacation, one of the biggest things that I missed was my bidet. I did not have my bidet anymore. The bidet was gone, Ben, and I'd gotten used to it, and I liked it. Um, my office isn't going to have one, right? So I'm going to be uncomfortable for
that
no
is
reason.
that is something that nobody I've heard nobody bring up in as far as work from home versus work from office culture is the bathroom because
Yeah,
I hate it. Like I contracted for a few months at a large downtown, real estate company, and there was one. So there was like on my floor, there was like the regular men's room, which had 2 stalls and 2 urinals, and then, but at the other end of the floor, there was a secret single toilet, and
yeah.
it was for everybody was allowed to use it, but it was like it's mostly for the mobility impaired.
Yeah.
And so I felt guilty every time I used it, but I always just used that one because I hated using the men's room one.
So and we can broach the subject, this sort of there are aspects of my personality that my friends and family have had to deal with and have learned to live with, I think. My Game of Thrones thing, as an example. When I'm looking on my phone and I'm trying to find something and I can't find it, um, about that. When I'm at work, imagine this, if you will. I'm at work. I'm looking for an email that explains something that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And imagine instead of that email, it's a video clip of a guy getting shot at a gas station. And how much time I spent trying to find this clip when I was talking to you, right? Now imagine instead of your podcast buddy trying to find something, it's someone who is taking time out of their programming day to be at a risk meeting or whatever, and I'm looking for this email. And I'm like, sorry, I'll get to it in just a second, whatever. Do you have a cat, or is that my cat?
It's your cat. I'm at the theater.
Oh, it's my cat. She's right down there.
As far as I'm aware, there are no cats here. We did have a cat at one point. we had a theater cat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only because it got in through an open window from the roof next door, and we had a heck of a time trying to coax it out from underneath the stage. Hey, wow. Paul, we have a comment from somebody I don't know.
Cool.
Somebody I don't know.
Who's this person?
The comment says Goody, and it's from a Kenny Cross.
Kenny Cross. Now here's the problem. Is Kenny Cross listening right now?
This person will have to comment and let us know. I'm assuming so.
Because I'm concerned that Kenny Cross is someone that I know, but I only know by a screen name, or even worse, someone that I know whose name I just don't remember. But it's got to be me, right? It's got to be.
It's not me.
Yeah. Kenny Cross, I apologize. Is it 2 Ks for Kenny Cross? Or is it Kenny
Cross with a C?
Kenny Cross.
They're okay, so they're Axe Chucker on Twitter.
Oh my God. Ben. I just mentioned Game of Thrones. Axe Chucker is a Game of Thrones guy. This is how we met. And yeah, see, this is what I meant. It's got to be a username. Yeah. Does great work. And now does music polls. Which, all right, this is for Kenny Cross again. Kenny, on your music polls on Twitter, again, it's Axe Chucker on Twitter. I only vote if I know the songs. And for the past couple of weeks, past couple of days, I guess, I don't know who these people are, and these songs are. It's kind of weird. So
is it new music?
Hey,
are these polls for new music?
It can be for new music. It can be for older ones. It runs the gambit.
I'm terrible at new music. But speaking of music, there's news coming out of the music world. A rapper and artist DMX passed away today.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so not only DMX, but who else, Ben? Do you remember?
Prince Philip.
And
consort to the Queen.
I saw a Prince Philip known for racial insensitivity at some points, faux pas, if you will.
At many points, from what I'm led to believe. I never really looked into it. I just know that he had been inappropriate, but I never researched him because I don't care.
I saw a Twitter poster who said, DMX and Prince Philip died today. Which of them do you think said the N-word more during their lifetime? And I felt like that was pretty good.
I'm not
as far as jokes go.
I'm not very familiar. Oh, my microphone is hanging down. I'm not very familiar. Apologize for that, everybody. I'm not familiar with all of DMX's work. I do know X Gonna Give It To You, shamefully because it was used in a Rick and Morty episode, but I really dug the song. I downloaded it. I bought it, so hopefully DMX got a couple of cents from my enjoyment of his song. But I did hear a clip of another one of his songs, and it's extremely homophobic in the beginning. So I've always had this.
That's too bad.
I've always had this sort of image that DMX is well, homophobic, and I shouldn't really and I shouldn't like him because he's a bad person.
Well, it is very difficult to like anyone when you find out everything about them. I'll say that. That's why they say don't meet your heroes often. But I mean, the thing is, I'll bet you Prince Philip was also homophobic. I don't know how this works, but so 2 people died today.
They say these things come in 3. So who's the third one that we're gonna who's the third famous celebrity?
No, we don't want to do this because we've
killed Jerry Lewis.
We killed Jerry Lewis. Oh, you said it, Ben. Yeah, it was an accident, but you said it.
Lewis.
Richard Lewis.
All right. If Richard Lewis dies within the next couple days, before this episode is posted, then
podcast curse.
Yeah.
And he is still alive, right?
He is still alive.
Okay.
There was big news that he was actually not going to be in the current season of Curb Your Enthusiasm for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it was health related or
probably
COVID related
health related. Ben, you've reached back in time now, and and also to the family of Richard Lewis, I apologize if we do end up cursing him as we have other people in the past. I said, Kurt Cobain's anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death happened just recently.
The 27th anniversary of his death, which means it's been just as long. He's been gone as long as he was with us.
So I did a stand-up thing for one of my acting classes, and in it I was talking about the different forms of primate locomotion, and one of them was knuckle walking. And for some reason, I was like, I used Kurt Cobain as an example, not because I thought he was a dumb guy. I just thought it would be funny imagining him running around, walking on his knuckles. So I put that into it. And then the idea was that we did this piece. We did the piece, and then we had a moment where we would get feedback from our peers. We would go back and work on it, and we'd come back and do it again.
Yeah.
In between me doing the knuckle walking joke and the next time I was supposed to do the stand-up thing, Kurt Cobain died. and so I remember this distinctly. I was like, so I did this piece last night. I stopped the stand-up thing. I did, and I said, I did this piece, and then found out that Kurt Cobain killed himself, and I didn't know that he was familiar with this stand-up routine, let alone that he would take that so hard, which was in poor taste. I'm saying that to you, Ben, right now. And then I said, but of course I realized that it wasn't because of this piece, but I do think that maybe I've cursed him. So I'm going to say that another example of knuckle walking is Newt Gingrich. And then everybody laughed. But
90s political commentary, everybody.
Yeah. That and Slap That Ass are the two actual stand-up things that I did. Everything else that I did on stage was either performance art or improv or sketch stuff.
Slap it! I think there's video on that video of that somewhere.
There is a video. Troy Lund has a video of it.
Yeah.
Look up "slap that ass" and my name, I think, and it comes up. But it's one of those things of a peek behind the curtain in in the Lulwork show that I was in. I talked about when I do stand up, and it was because performance art wasn't really understandable for some of the view. It's one of those things. We as performers have to deal with this all the time, Ben. People in charge, management, if you will, thinking that I kicked my stuff. Sorry. Thinking that other people won't get it. Oh, well, people won't get it. If you say performance art, no one's going to get it. I think people get things a lot more than they.
Well, also
they
when you
let
say
on.
performance art, people have their own preconceived notions of what that is.
It's true. That's right. Laurie Anderson, performance art, for sure.
Yeah.
She's on Twitter. I just found out. Started following her. She's really cool.
You know who you should be following on Twitter?
Who's that?
Comedian and former cast member of Laugh-In, Ruth Buzzy.
Oh,
Ruth Buzzy,
on Twitter.
apparently alive and well, and apparently it's her because the account is verified. Extremely funny on Twitter.
Ruth Buzzy has always been extremely funny. I would be
not lost it at all.
Delighted. I was going to say I would be honored to follow her, but no, I'd be delighted to follow her.
But you were asking if we had any interaction from last week, and
yeah.
No calls, no emails, no corrections. If you want to give us a call us at 216-586-4524. Again, that phone number is B10 Lung Lag.
Yeah, we would love to talk to you. There's nothing stopping this to become a purely interactive show, except for the fact that by our own machinations, no one actually knows that the show exists or watches it.
Well, you would have to. I mean, I don't post a link to this in here. I did, every once in a while, I'll think to update the website, but you'd have to subscribe to us on YouTube to find out when we're doing this. And so, hey, please like and subscribe. I hate saying that. Like, subscribe, and share, whatever. Just smash that button, whatever the heck it does.
Ben,
maybe this makes a sound.
We're embarrassing at this point. Old people pretend to say what the kids say. No good.
I used to like think when I was a kid, I used to think that I would be embarrassed to be an adult and be out of touch with pop culture and society, but I take pride in that. Now I know why. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, all the boomers were like proud that they didn't know who my favorite singer was or things like that.
Yeah.
But I get it now.
Say this, taking even the smallest interest in something that someone of a younger generation knows about is amazing. Like with me, it's Betty and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now that she, because she knows about it and I know about it, like I'll get references now.
Yeah, but you
wouldn't.
You live with a younger person, so that's okay. If I went someplace and I started pretending to being interested in the things that the younger generation likes, that might raise some red flags.
How are you doing, fellow kids?
Exactly.
Steve
Buscemi.
Yeah. Says which, by the way, the "How's it going, fellow kids" now is also a dated reference. It's perfect. It really, really is good. So yeah. So one of the other things is that I'm talking to my therapist because one of the things that my work is doing is saying, all jobs do this or should do this anyway. So they send out a thing saying, hey, do you have any sort of mental or physical disability that you could, this is a self-identifying thing. You don't have to, but if you want to, and if you do, you can get accommodations, make it easier to work in the place. And I feel as though I might want to do it for, reasons like I was talking about. I have my dog. Um, I work better near, you know, like nearly alone.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of activity going around, I can't really help it. I have these. These are holdovers from when I was working in my office before. They don't act. They're for those, because people have asked me about these before. These are for construction sites.
Yeah.
It's hearing protection, and also there's a radio in it, and
And
it really helps.
is the microphone you're using in those as well?
Absolutely. Yep. And it's
You
right
know,
over here.
it's interesting because you sound
Jerry?
fine. Yes,
How
stop
about
doing
now?
that.
How about now
Stop
when I
doing
talk?
that.
Can you still hear? All right.
Because
For those of you who are listening on the podcast, that's not going to make any sense. But for Ben, that was torture. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
for the last long while we've been doing this, your audio has been sounding great, but there were a couple of weeks in there where your audio was awful on, like, the recorded audio sounded fine, but the streamed audio sounded like you were coming in through
Yeah.
an old telephone. And I was wondering if it was because of those the headphones that you had.
Well, what about now? How's it sound?
No, it sounds great now.
Because here's the thing, and I will tell you this completely. These are the exact same headphones made by 3M, but the ones that I had before, I had lost these, and I bought a replacement pair, the exact same make and model and everything, but they were not good. And I think that that's probably where the audio problem
Because this might have been, I think this might have been like when we first started and streaming, and this might have been back in January before we had to take a break when they were doing the show here. I
could have been wearing the little Apple ones, but yeah, I had another pair like these that I bought to replace, and those were bad.
All right, it might have been. So let's blame that bad headphone pair. In front of the camera.
What have you been consuming media-wise lately, Ben?
I've not been consuming anything media-wise. I'll tell you, actually, this week has been the first week all year since the new year rolled over that I've not been crazy busy, and it's a little relaxing. I've not kept up on any TV shows. But Blair and I have been watching, because we do make time. I have seen all the MCU shows. I'm caught up. I haven't seen the episode of Winter Soldier that dropped today. So,
okay.
But I've seen that.
Yeah, I watched like half of WandaVision, and then it was apparently a free thing, but my Disney Plus went away.
Yeah.
But yet I got a thing saying that Disney Plus is going to be charging more. So they're still emailing me as though I have Disney Plus. That's
how they get you. I saw Godzilla vs. Kong on Saturday.
Oh, did you like it, or was it not good?
I loved it. I wanted to watch a monster battle. I got a monster battle. There was a plot in there. I don't care. Whatever. I wanted to see Godzilla fight Kong, and I got that. And I walked away from that happy.
I will have to take a look at it then. You are one of the people whose opinion means something to me. If you liked it, it means that I might like it also.
Yeah, as long as you just go in there, it's a popcorn movie. I kind of do wish I'd seen it in IMAX because it would have been a good movie on a big screen. But as the case may be, I'm not going to go to the movie theater for a while.
Have you gotten any vaccination yet?
No, I have not gotten any vaccination. I came close. Blair is on the Seattle Vaccine Hunters Facebook group, and a friend of hers said that there was an oversupply of Moderna shots in South Park, actually just down the street from where you and Jennifer used to live. And to go there, and so we went, and we stood in line for maybe 10 minutes before the guy came out and said that they were all out of extras, and if we wanted to be put on the wait list, this was like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If
Yeah.
we wanted to be put on the wait list, we can come back at 4:30. Neither of us wanted to do that, so we left.
Well, and it's tough with Moderna because it's one of the 2 shots, right? So how do
It
you
is
know
one
that
of the
you'll
2
get
shots.
the second shot?
Well,
At
see,
that time.
here's the thing. In 3 to 4 weeks, we are assuming that the shots are going to be easier to come by.
Yes. Okay.
The supply
Well,
will sort of equalize with the demand at ideally at some point in the near future, and so it won't be. We can just go down to the the CVS or something and get a Moderna shot.
so I had the Pfizer,
Yeah,
1 shot, and the second one I'm gonna get should be 3 weeks after the first one. I already have my appointment, so that's looking good. The second shot is apparently the one that gets you.
for some
So we'll
people,
see.
I know somebody
Yeah.
who got laid out for a week from the first shot and nothing on the second one.
For the first shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Are you looking for
I'm
something?
working with.
Did you
Edward
lose
is
the
down here.
dog?
Yeah, he's right down here. Come on, Edward. Come on, buddy. What's up? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Edward.
So
Did
yeah,
you take
my
Edward with you to
sister-in-law-
Santa Fe?
Yep, we sure did.
How does he like the car?
He likes it all right. We stop, whenever we have to pee, we take him out as well.
Of course.
And I got him a better leash because the harness that he has right now, his leg slips out of it. Little legs slip out of it because they're too stubby.
He
Too
does
small,
have little tiny
but
legs.
my legs. But yeah, now he has a little harness and everything. It works out all right. He did pee in one of the hotel rooms, but they were very nice about it. He does bark, and that's a problem, for me. But the hotel doesn't threaten to kick you out or anything.
Do you have to declare
that
that you have a pet when you book these
yeah.
rooms?
Yeah, and normally you have to pay extra.
In case it pees on the ground,
Exactly,
on the carpet. Yeah.
And for the inconvenience. The inconvenience of a dog. That's right. I'm a little bit too much of a dog.
There's a reality show on Amazon Prime called The Pack, which is sort of like the Amazing Race, but with people and their dogs. And it's actually kind of adorable. I can give or take the competition reality shows, but the dogs are really I'm there for the dogs. Cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a surprising lack of newfies.
I didn't like dogs for a while. Had problems with them. Was scared of them and all that. But Edward has changed everything. Because all dogs are just bigger versions of Edward, kind of. They still have the same kind of behaviors and things like that.
Well, there are a range of behaviors when it comes to dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna dwell on it, but I have had issues with dogs before.
Yeah.
Physical issues that have occurred.
I'm generally not afraid of dogs, but there are some breeds that I will steer clear of.
Again, we'll talk about Paul F. Tompkins and his stand-up.
I'm going to murder you!
He's all right. Paul F. Tompkins is one of those guys. He was on an episode of BigSoftTitty.png recently. He's one of those guys who can do any podcast, and he can feel what the nature of the podcast is, how the podcast is going to work, and meet or exceed whatever expectations you might have.
He probably does his homework and listens to a number of shows before going on a show.
I would hope so, yeah. I believe he mentioned that he was a fan of BigSoftTitty.png.
Oh, there you go.
He listened to it. Yeah. Paul F. Tompkins were on our show. What would happen?
My internet would freeze probably because we'd have a celebrity, and that would be a good time for the internet to go out.
He'd have to be in between the two of us, so it would be beard, mustache, clean shaven, unless he had gotten rid of the mustache, which was weird
Why
because
would he
I
get rid
think
of the mustache?
I think he didn't have the mustache when we saw him in Seattle that one time.
He did
I think
have
that
the
he had shaved it.
mustache because
He did.
he did a routine about shaving, and
The
it was
the ironic mustache.
hilarious.
Yeah. That was one of those times where I really realized how easy some of the jokes I come up with are. Because I had a Twitter post that I did that said, I don't have an ironic beard, I really mean it. And Paul Tompkins did a joke that said, I don't have an ironic mustache, I mean it with every inch of my being, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's my ironic beard joke. When in fact, what Twitter has done for me, anytime I post a joke and I think this is the funniest joke, I've never heard it before, I search Twitter for it, and then I post the earliest version of the joke I can find. And because of that, I'm wading through like hundreds of people telling the same jokes lots of times.
Yeah.
So I don't feel
I
as
don't
bad anymore.
I don't do that when I think of something funny to say on Twitter or Facebook, but I will search the comments of a post on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit to see if somebody else has already posted what I was going to say.
Yeah. One of the other things that I do nowadays is whenever somebody posts something that I think is funny, I go through all of a whole bunch of older posts of them to try to figure out if what they're posting is supposed to be funny or if they're serious about it. Because a couple of times I've run into problems in that way.
I do know some people who make Facebook posts or comments that are sort of like cold bearish in their nature, where they point out the hypocrisy or the irony of a particular post. And if you didn't know this person, you'd think, oh, they've drunk the Kool-Aid and they're off their rocker. But no, I know this person.
Exactly.
They're actually making fun of the situation.
Right. And this is one of those things. I've gotten on the soapbox before on the podcast. I'll do it once more because I love it. There was a time, Ben, before the internet, where you had something called readership and an audience, and a specific publication would be catering to a specific group of people. And so you could do satire because you knew what people would be reading something. So, for instance, Modest Proposal, the idea that the Irish should be eaten, or the Irish should eat their children. I forget exact. My apologies to A Modest Proposal for me getting it sort of wrong, but in the end, it was something about how Irish babies should be eaten.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. If the publication that it was in was a publication mainly read by Irish people, that would not have hit. But the reason it hit was because it was written for the people that sort of had that lower opinion of Irish folks, to make them feel bad. You write it to make them feel bad about the concept that they had. What happens now, the problem with satire on Twitter now, is that if you try to do something like that, you're not only going to have the people you're trying to make the point to, you also have the people who actually have to deal with that sort of attitude every day in their regular lives. So making fun of racist attitudes by espousing racist attitudes for someone who deals with racist attitudes all the time is just more noise added to their life. They don't need to be reminded that racism is bad. They know it is.
Yeah.
So it's harder to do satire these days, I feel like. Some people can do it, and they do it well, but I try to shy away from it for that reason.
Because a lot of satire and just humor in general is inferred through tone, and you can't convey tone via text.
That's true.
in many cases.
It is difficult. Yes. And the other thing that you get is when people are using the wrong tone, and they go, "Oh, I was just joking," when they get in trouble. "Oh, I was just joking. I was just kidding. This is a joke." You have no sense of humor.
I
You
am
thought
sorry
that when
if you
I
were
said
offended.
we should go and take over the government, that I meant we should take over the government. That's not what I meant. And I can't believe that you would accuse me of doing something like that. When I said, "Come on, everybody, it's time to take over the government," and pointed to where the government was and said that you should go over there. And,
Almost as if you're
jokes.
talking about a real thing.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Misinterpreted jokes.
Yeah, no,
Approach.
that never got old fast and never got old because they constantly said it. But like our former president would say something incendiary, and then his people would say, "Oh no, the president was just joking." And then somebody would ask the president, "Were you joking about this?" And the president would say, "I never joke," which you had to believe because the dude had no sense of humor.
Yeah, always a red flag, Ben. Always a red flag. No sense of humor. Be careful. Look at this guy. He's just a little.
If you're not joining us on the stream, if you're listening to the
Standing up.
podcast, join us on the stream one of these days, and you'll be able to see Edward and
Edward
meat
is
wad on Paul's shirt.
Sometimes he'll stand up. Sometimes Edward will stand up. Look, he's got his arm around my chest.
And
Okay,
now he's down.
Yeah, I've got Meatwad on my shirt, and it's Meatwad, and says "Got Meat." This is an old T-shirt.
It looks old. It looks faded.
Which means it will let you know that there is laundry that needs to be done.
I'm just wearing a regular black T-shirt today.
I know, you're like a floating head,
No
Ben.
design.
It's crazy.
You need to turn down your contrast.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Invincible, by the way. Have you seen that yet?
I have not seen it, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've heard good things.
It is really good. I like it a lot. I definitely recommend it.
What other media have you been consuming?
I've been playing the video game Disco Elysium, but there's a problem in that Disco Elysium allows you to choose your attributes before you start, and I cannot decide what I want my attributes to be, so I keep on choosing my attributes over and over and over again. One of the reasons people ask me why I create characters based on me, because I think you've seen this before.
Video games is about escapism.
It solves the problem of me having too many choices. I'm like, well, let's just make him as close to me as possible.
Now, when you say you have to choose the attributes before you play, does that mean when you change attributes you start over?
Yes. Yeah, so I've played the start of the game about 8 times now. So here's the thing: you have in like an intelligence score, like a how you deal with people score, like your physical attribute score, and your kind of dexterity score.
Yeah.
So like strength, dexterity, intelligence, and like social interaction kind of things. And you can't have them too high or too. You can either have a really, really high one and then a whole bunch of bad ones, or average ones, and that's pretty much it. And so, depending on how you're feeling, you might want to try to be a really smart guy, or you might want to have really high strength. And I have a hard time figuring out which one I want to do.
That tracks with like games where you drive, where you have to pick a car, because you can have like great acceleration and no cornering and no top speed, or great cornering and nothing else. And so yeah, it's hard to pick because like, do I want to corner better, or do I want to go fast in the straight parts, or do I just want to average everything out? That's why I stopped playing those games.
Oh, hey, speaking about that, hey, Betty.
Oh yeah, we are getting. It doesn't feel like we're getting late because it's only it's 5:23 for me, which means if we were just starting at 5, we're only almost halfway through. But we started at 4:30. We are almost done for today.
Oh, we're so happy that you joined us for this. Oh, look, Edward has seen that Betty is here. Edward is very barky when it comes to Betty.
Edward is not Betty's emotional support dog, I take it.
No, he was meant to be, but Edward, come on, man. Hey, Betty, look, it's Ben.
Hey, Betty.
Hi.
Here,
Hello.
put these on. So what I was going to mention, Betty, is Ben doesn't know this. I don't think you have your driver's permit.
Yeah.
What?
I haven't actually driven anything though.
Well, congratulations.
Do you know when your behind the wheel is for your school?
Huh?
Your behind the wheel stuff?
What about it?
Do you know when it is?
No.
We should find out.
Betty,
'Cause
I
your mom's
love-
going to be driving with you, but you're also supposed to be driving to school too.
love driving. Getting my learner's permit was a big moment for me. So hopefully it's a big moment for you. Driving is awesome.
Yeah, cool. Oh!
Oh, God. Don't fall down. Yeah, maybe even you might convince your mom and dad to buy you your own car.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, not with that ad. Are you looking forward to driving? Are you taking it because it's a requirement, or do you
Holy
want
crap,
to learn
I
to
just
drive?
I just got some deja vu. Yeah, it's a required course in high school.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Are you looking forward to learning how to drive, or is it just something that you feel that you're being forced to do?
I'm scared.
Oh yeah, I was terribly nervous when I was learning to drive. That's normal. You get used to it. It's like anything, you get used to it. Did you enjoy
Can I
Santa
go
Fe?
now?
Yes, you can go. Yes,
wait,
you can go.
wait. I did. I enjoyed Santa Fe a lot. It was really good.
Cool. Good to hear.
Oh, I didn't even tell Ben about where we went in Santa Fe.
Okay.
I'll tell him. You can go.
I'm not very good at keeping the attention of 15-year-olds, apparently.
No one is. So we went to a thing called the House of Eternal Return.
What is
which
that?
was very similar to City Museum, run by this company called Meow Wolf. They also do, you might have heard about, Omega Mart.
I have heard of Omega Mart.
And, yeah.
And I know
So-
of Meow
so this
Wolf
is
because Jennifer posted about it on Facebook.
Yep. So that's where we went, and it was really cool. And it was very neat. I very much recommend it to anyone with an earshot. Speaking about anyone with an earshot,
Hey,
any
Betty!
last things in the chat? Oh yeah, any last things in the chat or on anything else from?
Nope.
People?
We've had a couple people watch us throughout the recording, so thank you to
Well, hello, and thank you for watching.
Kenny, Axe Chucker, and whoever else has been with us this week.
Don't be shy. Feel free to reach out to us.
If we got something
at the
wrong, let
number
us
on your
know.
screen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can do that by writing to us at Ben's email at yahoo.com at gmail.com. Boy, Ben, why is it that it's so hard for people to email us?
I don't know.
We came up with this bit and we stuck with it of making it
I
difficult to figure out.
haven't
email us.
I haven't looked for it, but I hope that there's no poor soul out there who has a yahoo.com email address that's called Ben's email, because perhaps one or two people might have emailed Ben's email at yahoo.com and
maybe.
told him how he was
maybe
wrong.
people think that you got Ben's email at both yahoo.com and
Oh.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, see, that's
I
a
didn't
possibility.
think about that. That's true. For those of you who don't know, there's a little bit of trivia at the end of the episode. Ben's email at yahoo.com at gmail.com came from another thing that Ben and I did. And Ben, I don't even know if you remember this. It was a list of websites that would be impossible to tell people about over the phone. Do you remember that?
I don't.
So for instance, you can't do it verbally, really, but it's like like sorry, I am Sam, all one word, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
Okay.
I am Sam, all one word is all of that is spelled out. And then the word, dot, but it's THEWORD and then a period. com at and then gmail.com or whatever. Yeah. But so this is the closest we got. And look, you put it on the thing.
I did put it on screen.
People can finally see it.
People can email us. Yeah, that's almost, it's getting close to like a BoJack reference, all those websites that can't be spoken aloud. I've also heard people say that their Wi-Fi passwords are sort of the same way. Like, if somebody wants to be really clever.
That BoJack joke, I love it so much, it sits with me.
My Wi-Fi at home, the SSID is peanut butter is one word.
Oh.
But it's 4 words.
Oh my god.
5 words.
That's funny. But yeah, our Wi-Fi stuff is unintelligible. It's just gibberish. I remember there was someone who had "Get Your Viruses Here" as their Wi-Fi. That was kind of funny. But yeah.
I've not looked. I mean, I live in an apartment building, so I can probably see a lot of different networks in the building. But there have been no like really clever. Tell my wife I love her is kind of old right now.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Shout out to my neighbor, whose name I will not say on the podcast. Back when we were living in Seattle, who sublet his apartment and charged his tenants to use our Wi-Fi. That was, as we say, a baller move that Jennifer and I had to respect. We told him about it because they came to the store because we changed our Wi-Fi password because we got a new router or something. And they asked if we knew what the Wi-Fi was. I'm like,
and you are...
No. Yeah. So...
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think that we gave them the Wi-Fi password because we were not beholden to giving them the Wi-Fi password.
No, not at all. That's a conversation they get to have with the letter, not this. Yep,
exactly. So Ben, it's fun. It's fun when we have this where it's a minute and a half and we're stalling.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, let's call it an evening.
Wait, no, we can't though. It has to be an hour, or else the.
Oh, is it not an hour yet? Oh, I see.
Oh my God! I said John Garden, Joe Garden. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you've killed a guy named John Garden.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. Oh man, I'm so glad that it was Richard Lewis and not Ruth Buzzy, because that would be really bad. But yeah, Joe Garden, the ghost of Joe Garden will come and get us if we have more than or less than an hour.
Less than an hour.
Because this is the podcast built off of what he hates, and it works out.
But it is so much more.
Listen to it. Yeah, I enjoy it. Hey, look, Edward, it's time to go.
All right.
Half a minute. Hey, Ben.
Paul,
you're a good friend, and I enjoy talking to you every hour.
Every hour? Oh, yes, every hour that we
Jennifer
spend.
and I once again talked about how we want to go back to the Pacific Northwest after Betty graduates. Still don't know how we'd actually accomplish it, but it is the dream.
Maybe there will be a big market crash over here, and rents will go down, and property will be available. One can only hope.
Well, and we're also thinking about going near there, but not actually in the city. That kind of thing. Whatever we can accomplish. All right. So with that, Ben, I wish you a good evening, and until we speak again, please keep it wrong.
Likewise, have a good week and keep it wrong, and I will talk to you next week.